Do you remember those summer holidays when visiting your grandparents felt like the happiest time of your life? What if one unforgettable summer changed everything forever? This is the story of Mike. Mike had only been back at his parents' new house for few days before things started to feel wrong. It was a quiet property on the edge of a small English town, surrounded by a field and long stretch of empty road. His parents had moved there recently after years of talking about downsizing, and Mike had only seen the place a handful of times before coming home for his final week before college. They had given him the usual tour before they moved in. Everything seemed normal, almost too normal. Clean rooms, fresh paint, and an older structure that had clearly been maintained over the year. There was just one detail they were certain about: old basement with a locked door. Mike did not think much of it, at least not until the first night. It started with a faint sound beneath his room, soft at first, like something lightly tapping on wood. He assumed it was the house settling, but the sound returned next night, and the next. Each time it grew a little clearer, a little closer. But by the fourth night, it wasn't just tapping anymore. There were dragging sound now, like something being pulled across a rough surface. Mike tried to ignore it, but the pattern didn't feel random anymore. It felt deliberated, as if something below was moving in circle, returning to the same spot again and again. The next morning, he finally asked his parents to check the basement. His father agreed immediately. He thought it might be an animal problem. But when they opened the basement door, there was nothing there. No movement, no nest, no sign of anything living inside. Just empty darkness and damp ground. That should have been the end of it, but it was not. That afternoon, while walking around the back of the house, Mike noticed something strange. There is a small hut at the corner of the garden, partially hidden behind overgrown bushes. Something about it did not match the rest of the house. He cleared the area himself, and that's when he found it, a sealed metal hatch, almost completely hidden under the hut. It wasn't mentioned in any plan. His parents, they had never seen it before. Cold air rushed out from below. A narrow staircase led downwards into darkness. A basement. That basement looked used. Old blankets, half-empty bottles of water, burnt-out candles. Someone had been down there recently, and they hadn't been careful about hiding it. There were marks on the wall, stretched carved deep into the wood and concrete. Not random damage, but patterns, repeated symbols, and then he heard it again, that same sound. From deeper inside the basement, a slow, dragging noise. Only this time, it stopped the moment he stepped inside. Mike did not wait to find out more. He ran. That night, the house felt different, too quiet, like something was waiting. Around 2 a.m., Mike woke up to the sound of the basement hatch, metal scraping against metal. Something below was trying to open it. Mike realized the worst part wasn't that somebody living under the house, it was that now somebody living above it. Mike grabbed his phone and called the police, explaining everything they had found beneath the house. The dispatcher told them to stay outside and wait for officer to arrive, but Mike's father had another plan. If someone hiding down there, he said they will escape before the police get here. Against Mike's better judgment, the two of them climbed back into the basement, armed with nothing more than a flashlight and a metal crowbar. They went inside basement, and then they found it's not just a single room, it's a network of narrow tunnels disappeared into the darkness, twisting beneath the house like a maze. Old blankets, empty water bottles are everywhere. Someone had been living there recently. They moved slowly with their flashlight beam cutting through the darkness. Then it happened. Mike's father suddenly cried out as his foot sank into the ground. Hidden beneath the dirt was a rusted metal trap. His leg is injured, and no matter how hard he pulled, he couldn't free himself. Silence filled the tunnel, then they listened a sound through the darkness. It was getting closer. Neither of them spoke. The only thing they could hear was the slow scraping sound, followed by the metallic tap of something striking the concrete wall. It sounded like a knife being dragged and tapped against the tunnel. Someone is approaching them slowly, step by step. The darkness ahead remained completely still. The sound grew louder and closer. Then suddenly they listened police siren. For a brief moment, everything went silent. That dragging stopped. A second later, footsteps exploded through the tunnel as the unknown figure turned and ran. Police officer rushed into the basement just as the suspect disappeared into one of the hidden passages. They chased the figure through the maze beneath the house, but the tunnel led to a concealed exit in the nearby fields. By the time officer reached the surface, whoever had been living beneath the house was gone. Mike and his family were finally free from the terrifying sound and the constant fear that had haunted their home. But one question still remained. For how long? The person who had been living beneath their house was never caught. No one knew who he was. No one knew where he went.